Hello internet, my name is Lave and I just got back from a midnight screening of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and I've got to tell you, I friggin' loved it! So normally what I do for my reviews is after I've seen a film, I will come home and make a few notes about what I want to say and structure my review, but because it's so fresh in my mind, I'm gonna just talk to the camera and just give you a general idea of what I thought about it, the bits I liked, the bits I didn't like. I've got to say that I think the likes heavily outweigh my dislikes. Good. So Rogue One is directed by Gareth Edwards, who directed Monsters and 2014's Godzilla, both films that I really liked. I did have some reservations because of the stuff that he did with Godzilla. I know some people found that film a bit frustrating. A lot of people think that they didn't actually see enough of Godzilla, but I totally understand why he did it. He didn't show all his cards straight away, but it does pay off in a big way towards the end. And Rogue One, I think, is exactly the same. It does build up nicely to an incredibly good payoff. So unless you've been living under a rock your entire life, I'm sure you know the basic premise of this film. This film essentially centres around Felicity Jones's character Jyn Erso, who is the daughter of a former scientist for the Empire who is in hiding but then gets taken back by the Empire to work on this new secret weapon which looks like a moon. That's no moon. So yeah, what this film is doing is connecting the dots between Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith and Episode 4 A New Hope. I say connecting the dots, but it's really bringing those two films closer together. It does sort out some plot holes from A New Hope. There's some really nice cameos from some characters from the prequels, and there's a couple of cameos from the originals. Unfortunately, one of these characters falls into the uncanny valley. It's very obvious that this character is a digital recreation. It's in the eyes, they always give it away. What I will say though is when you first see this character, I thought they were going to handle it really well. You see this character from behind and a reflection, and I thought that's great. If they keep it as that, that's perfect. But unfortunately they're just a bit too ambitious, and this character has a pretty big role in the film, and as I say, it doesn't cross the uncanny valley. I just found it really distracting, which is such a shame. And there are a lot of other characters in this film, and I think it does suffer a little bit for it because some of them are a little bit interchangeable. They seem to fulfill the same role. Donnie Yen and Jiang and Riz Ahmed are all great in the film, but they aren't really that developed. They all feel like they're facilitating the same role. I just wonder if they could have been rolled into one somehow. Either that, or maybe if they'd extended the film by maybe half an hour or so that we got a chance to develop those characters. Don't get me wrong, their performances are all great and their characters are functional, but they don't really add any emotional depth to the film. I did really like Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso, and I did really like Diego Luna as Captain Cassian. They do sort of bump heads at first, and then a romance develops between them, which I didn't quite buy into. It feels a bit forced. Yeah, it doesn't quite reach the same level as, say, Han Solo and Leia, but their performances are fine. The emotional core of this film is Jyn Erso's relationship with her father, Galen Erso, played by Mads Mikkelsen, who is great in the film. Don't see him as much as I'd like, but he's still really great. Moving on to Alan Tudyk's performance as K2SO, who I thought was great. He is the comic relief in this film, but it's a sort of darker C-3PO, if that makes sense. He's a reprogrammed Empire robot, but he's really good. He's really funny. Easily one of the best performances in this film was Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic, the officer overseeing the construction of the Death Star. He's the one who forces Galen Erso back into the Empire to build the Death Star. He's suitably slimy and a prick, basically. He's brilliant at it. And then you've got Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera. Now, I know that this character has a big role in the animation Rebels, which I haven't seen, but a lot of people have told me that I have to, and I do plan on watching it at some point. Overall, though, I thought his performance was good. He does have a bit of a weird voice, but I didn't find it that distracting that it ruined the film for me. Save the dream! Which brings me on to Darth Vader. Yes, he's in this film. I think that's been well established in the trailers, but the question is, was I satisfied with the amount of Darth Vader that we got? And I have to say, patience. That's all I'm gonna say. Patience, but it's good. Maybe I could have done with a little bit more, maybe. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I loved his introduction. It's great to see him on the big screen again. James Earl Jones is back voicing. He does sound a little different, but overall, it's great to see Vader again. Sticking with the negatives for now, the music feels a bit like a cheap knockoff of Star Wars. The notes are all there, but sort of in a different order. I just don't know why they didn't just use the original score. It's really weird. Okay, so that's my negatives sort of out of the way. Let's talk about some positives. I think this is the best looking Star Wars film out of all of them. It's gorgeous to look at. Interestingly, there are a lot of shots from the trailers which don't make it into the film. I'm not going to spoil which ones, but I still absolutely loved the way this film looked. It is a masterpiece. I was hoping to see a more grounded Star Wars, one that's about the war between the Alliance and the Empire, who's kind of flexing its muscles for the first time, and it absolutely delivers on that. It does get its hands dirty, which is great to see. It's not like it's an R-rated film, but it definitely feels like the stakes have been raised and the characters aren't all guaranteed to make it, and I absolutely love it for that. Now, I'm not going to do an enjoyment tracker because I think that could give away too many spoilers, but I will say that the film starts off really well, maybe sags just a little, but then it pays off in a really, really good way. I think this is some of the best Star Wars space battles and ground battles we've seen on film. They're absolutely brilliant. As I say, I wanted to see a more contained war film, and that's what we got, except it's set in the Star Wars universe. I absolutely loved it. I think I might have even enjoyed it more than Force Awakens. I cannot wait to go and see it again. I'm definitely going to do a spoiler talk video for this. It just depends when I can see it. So thanks very much for watching my review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like and don't forget to share the lave. Good.